There are two kinds of travelers in the world. The wise ones who succeed in avoiding every tourist scam by following our channel, and the ones who fall for every trap during their journey by not being our subscribers. And let's be honest, nobody wants to be the former. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and buckle up because we are about to share the lowdown on some tourist traps in Lisbon and how to avoid them like a pro. Don't forget to wear your shades though, because the only protection you'll need throughout the tour is from the sun. Lisbon is a beautiful city and one of Portugal's famous destinations. However, the city's popularity also attracts tourist scams and traps where visitors let their guard down by being mesmerized by the city's charm. And that's why we have come up with a list of some of the top tourist scams in Lisbon so you can better be safe than sorry. Number 5. Petition scams. This scam will make you feel like you're the bad guy here if you don't fall for it. Tourists are approached by some deaf and mute people who would use sign language and ask them to sign some petitions. Most of the time, people easily agree because what's the harm in signing some papers, right? And that too for the helpless. But soon after signing, the person will start saying that the petition requires some donation, and because they are deaf or mute, it puts the tourist in a tight spot and even makes them feel guilty. However, the twist is that those people just pretend to be deaf and dumb. This is all part of a scam to make the tourists fall for it and give away big donations. Avoid eye contact and ask them to leave you alone if you are approached by such scammers. They are obviously trying to act deaf and dumb, so you can even outsmart them by pretending not to understand what they want until they give in and start speaking. You can then congratulate them for uttering their first words and kindly ask them to leave you alone. At number 4, we have overpriced restaurant meals. These tourist scams are common everywhere from Asia to Africa, and coming across them in Portugal, mainly in some of the famous Lisbon neighborhoods such as Baixa, can be frequent. And truth be told, these traps are only rising because we can't think straight when our stomach starts growling. According to an online Portuguese newspaper, one such restaurant is located by a pickpocketer who used to work in Tram 28, Lisbon's iconic transportation. Although the place changes its name constantly, we did manage to gather 3 names the restaurant used to operate as: Made in Carreiros, Olive Garden, and Restaurant Lisboa. Their ideal way to trap customers is something like this. A menu without any price details will be given out to the visitors, or the waiters will recommend some special dishes to try, telling them they are just for today. Once the customers agree to try out the dishes or order something from the menu without any price, their food will be served, which looks nothing like what they were promised. The quality will be average, sometimes even far from good. But as they are already served, one feels hesitant to waste them. In the end, the bill will be brought where the prices charged for the meals will be more expensive than your flight tickets. And when customers start complaining about the overpriced meals, like a genie out of a lamp, a menu will appear where there will be dishes you ordered with their charged prices. Once you are shown the proof, you are bound to pay. Although this will be a one-time experience for those scammed as they aren't returning there ever, the restaurant is still running, possibly with a different name now for those unaware of this trap. So it's best to step inside any restaurant once you have read their online reviews because they are only the gospel truth, and always ask for the exact prices of the dishes before ordering them. Number 3. Taxis overcharging. Just like its name, the scam is plain and simple. You pay double the usual fare all because you weren't aware of the exact route. So, what to do to avoid these tourist traps? Before hopping into a cab, map out your journey and check how much time it will require to reach your destination. This will help you when your driver tries to take a shortcut by saying how busy the main roads are or how much faster you could reach there if you go through a street whose name wouldn't even pop up in Google Maps. Try to remain calm and politely refuse the not-so-generous offer. You can say you are a fan of long routes or want to enjoy the city's crowded streets. Sure, you might come off as a little loose in the head, but hey, at least your cab driver would stop pressuring you. Another type of scam the drivers have up their sleeves is trying to offer a packaged deal instead of turning the meter on. They will come up with every excuse on the planet, from telling you that the meter is broken to the deal will cost you less money. However, be aware that taxi drivers are obliged to turn on the meter before the journey starts, and if they decline, why waste your time and energy? Climb into a new one and ask them if their meter is running. If yes, then bravo. On average, a trip from Lisbon to the city's center costs anywhere between 15 to 20 euros, and if you have any luggage with you, an additional cost of 160 euros will be added per bag you carry. Number 2. Pickpockets. Make way for the master of scams, as lately Portugal is seeing a surge in pickpocketing. Lisbon has also been a victim, as just like any other popular tourist destination, the city is filled with pickpocketers who cleverly develop new ways to rob. However, if they are smart, we know how to outsmart them. These tourist scams mainly happen when someone isn't paying attention to their surroundings, so make sure you are aware of things happening around you. When traveling by public transport, avoid putting your wallet in the back pockets, and if you are carrying a backpack, wear it on your front when taking a bus or a tram. Crossbody bags can prevent pickpockets and keep an eye on your goods. Scammers also use unique techniques to rob valuable items, such as this one. You might be taking a stroll in the park or walking in the streets when you feel something has been dropped on your shoulder. The typical reaction would be to think of it as bird poop, but what you missed while enjoying the walk was a random passerby throwing some white paste on your shoulder. Out of nowhere, a superhero without a cape will appear, offering to help you, and as soon as you agree, you will find yourself without any money to return to your hotel. Yes, that friendly stranger who helped you out was a pickpocketer in disguise who sneakily took out your wallet while you were busy cussing at the birds. Another way to pickpocket is by creating a crowd where a game of cups or boxes is performed, and while you try to guess which one of them has the ball in it, you cannot even guess what's going to happen next. Yes, you will be a victim of pickpocketing. Most of the time, the group works with the scammer and takes advantage of the crowd, where one quickly pickpockets the innocent who are heavily focused on the guessing game. The best way to avoid these tricks is to be attentive and avoid any gatherings unless they are being held for your honor. And the top one tourist scam in Lisbon is fake drug dealers. This scam has been marked as one of the top tourist traps in Lisbon and can easily turn your peaceful vacation into a problematic one. If you visit any of Lisbon's tourist attractions, you might come across people who will pass by whispering, "Hashish? Cocaine?" Now, you may wonder if that's because drugs were decriminalized in Portugal. Then you are right. In 2001, Portugal became the first country in the world to decriminalize the public and private use of drugs. Since then, even if scams using marijuana or heroin aren't uncommon in Lisbon, getting arrested for selling them is quite impossible. And why is that? Well, let us break down the scam for you. The sellers usually approach international tourists. Most of the time, they are instructed to target foreigners and ask them if they want drugs, which generally would be ignored by many, but some, who end up nodding, a big fat yes, take their first step into the trap, after which they are given a real sample to taste or smell. Once the potential customers are satisfied, the dealers ask them to pay a hefty amount, and after the payment is settled, the vendors hand out fake substitutes, which are usually crushed bay leaves or flour. And who would arrest someone selling bay leaf or some washing powder, right? That's why the Lisbon police can't meddle, as the scammers aren't selling anything illegal. So far, it will just be a breach of street licensing laws. Scammers are everywhere, hence it's better to be alert and exercise caution, especially in an unknown city, so that rather than being a part of a scamtastic adventure, you can end up being the star of a fantastic journey. We hope you enjoyed this video. What do you think of these hideous scams? Comment down below and we will see you in our next video.